Hello, hello. Here we are again, coming to you from Broadcast Team Alpha with the Paranormal World Show. You know, the show that is for the thinking global citizen. My name is Augie, and I'm the host here tonight. And I have a wonderful guest, a legend in his own time that I want you to listen to because he's doing research for decades into all the things that we like to hear about. And we are coming to you from 44 different platforms around the world, and one of them is the Conscious Awakening Network. And I'd like you to go over and visit those guys. Go to consciousawakeningnetwork.org. They have about 50 different shows or so over there. Or they talk about all the stuff that both you and me need to know about. Anything from what is consciousness, the whole universe and the holographic universe and UFOs and the spiritual issues. We have it all over there. And we are also streaming live over there and many of the others. I also want to let you know how you can get in touch with me. You go to broadcastteamalpha.com and go to the contact feature and then just send us an email and I'll get the email and I'll get back to you so we can see what maybe we can help you out with. Now, I want to tell you another thing. This is something that you should consider. Nori Love and I have created a spiritual think tank where we do amazing things. We have this works on the mastermind principle. And I'm going to take about 12 seconds to tell you about that. The mastermind is when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind that has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. That is why we join minds together and we direct our attention to something and we alter reality. In fact, it seems like we are creating out of seemingly nothing sometimes. Spontaneous healing for people, windfall of economics. A lot of things happen that according to Newtonian physics can't happen. So just come and visit us. Send us an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. I'll get the email and I'll send you some information on it and also a link to come and check it out and participate if you like. On Sundays it's at noon. Gosh, now the summer savings times is coming, but I think it's noon. So we will welcome you there if you want to come and have a check it out. Now I want to introduce the guest to you. We have Norio Hayakawa. And I think most of you probably know his name. He has been around a very long time. He's a legend in the field of UFO and extraterrestrial research. He's an author, he's a lecturer, and he's a musician. Hey, he plays country and western music too. That's my favorite. And just listen to him because he's been doing this research a very long time. And when you do that, you see trends coming. And when you follow the trends, you can kind of more so than otherwise anticipate things that comes in the future. And that's what I want to pick his brain on. So welcome to the show, Norio.
Thank you so much, Augie, for having me on your what I you sound like a wonderful program, and I'm sure it is. And it's an honor and privilege to be here right now talking to your a great audience.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. And I I know we had some video challenges, so we have your picture up there that will be placed so they at least can look what you look like. And we um, we we all anticipate things happening because we anticipate on the basis of what we know from before. That is usually what happens. But there are new things now thrown into the equation, and that is what is happening over the last maybe 6 months or so with the drones in New Jersey and new information coming out about UFOs. The government is admitting that these are real, but we don't know what it is. They're lying through their teeth as usual. But I want to ask you, Norio, what do you think? What do you think is really going on? Why are these information coming out now and not 5 years ago or still being stonewalled, but it's happening now? What do you think is going on?
My belief, and it's just my own personal belief, is that we are being, um, what we call it, brainwashed into accepting something that is uh, really hard to get into, but we are slowly being conditioned to
Yep.
believe in the alien presence for some, probably some ominous purpose, which I believe could take place in the very near future. And as you said, at this moment, there are still significant reports of sightings of these strange drones, as well as UFO sighting reports from all over the world. And uh, when this started happening in New Jersey, I came to one theory, and that is some of these drones, or what appears to be drones, may not necessarily be our technology, but some kind of a mimicking of our technology by possible um, dimensional intelligence that is orchestrating a global acculturation into our minds that their presence, their physical presence, is real. And I am a person that does not make dogmatic statements. So it is just my speculation. But I have often thought that, for example, in the United States in the 1800s, people witnessed strange airship type of objects slowly flying over many rural areas in the
Yeah.
1800s. And so I I think that this could be part of the slow sensitization into our minds that we are being visited by physical extraterrestrial entities in their physical extraterrestrial spacecraft. By the way, in the early 1980s, there were many, many sightings in the eastern United States, in the Hudson Valley area, of people witnessing some strange, dark humongous black triangular objects slowly hovering and slowly just maneuvering over the sky, in the sky, and some of these black triangular objects were incredible in size, like at least three or four or five times the size of a football field, and without any noise. And of
Yeah.
course, we never had such a technology. Even today, we don't have any technology that has that kind of ability. That is to say, silently hovering in the sky and silently, moving in the sky, for example, at the rate of, let's say, like about 5 to 10 miles per hour. We just don't have that technology, and it's not ours. However, it's very important to know that in the 1980s, the United States Air Force were testing and developing and testing the prototypes of F-117s and B-2 bombers
Yeah.
already. And this sightings of a strange, dark, humongous black triangle craft could be a mimicking by the extra dimensionals, mimicking our technology. And so, for what reason? I just suggested that we are slowly being brainwashed by some force in this universe to be convinced
Yeah.
that we are being physically visited by extraterrestrials or extra dimensionals. Because my theory is that these are not extraterrestrials, but extra dimensionals, suddenly
Yeah.
materializing and dematerializing at will, and suddenly appearing to a select observer for a purpose that we still don't know. And we have had sightings of strange objects in the sky since time immemorial. This is
Yeah.
not a new thing. But especially in our modern day era, this type of conditioning system, I think, began around 1947 in the United States. 1947 was the very year in which the CIA was created in the United States.
Yeah.
CIA is the successor organization to Office of Strategic, investigations,
Yeah.
and so anyway, 1947 was also the year in which NSA, the National Security Agency, was established. And also 1947 was the year when the Air Force started to come into existence. And until 1947, there was no such thing as the U.S. Air Force. It was only the Army
Air Corps.
Air Force, yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're talking about the indoctrination uh, into our minds in the modern day era, and it's still going on. And as I said, people are still witnessing some strange, what appears to be like man-made drones, but some of them could possibly be just a mimicking by these extra dimensionals, mimicking our drone technology or making fun of it. Or maybe there's a reason, for these appearances. And I think it's still going on. And the sightings of drones have been, hushed up, especially in uh, these couple of these months. They don't talk about it anymore.
Now, you mentioned something. You mentioned interdimensionals. And I want to comment on that because on the FBI website, they have a UFO section. And there is a document that has been called the smoking gun document. It's an FBI document. And in there, the FBI says, we are aware of what is called UFOs, and we have found that there are interdimensional crafts and beings, and we are communicating with them. The smoking gun document. Go ahead and Google it. No, don't use Google. Use anything else. Google censors stuff, but use another platform, and you can find that document. I have there's a document number on it that uh, when this show is over, I'll find it and I'll put it in the text underneath so you can go and have a look at it, because this is worth reading. And you just said it. You thought maybe there were some interdimensional things going on, and I think you're exactly right. And so does the FBI and the CIA. They know also about the interdimensional aspect of UFOs. So yeah, I think that's something to consider. Now, I want to mention another thing, and that is there is on my video, on my computer, I have a video of a helicopter that is flying along and suddenly turning into a quick ball of light and then just poof, leaving. So that helicopter really wasn't a helicopter. It was something, a craft of some type, probably of extraterrestrial. I don't think even our black projects has gotten to that point, but they appeared to be a helicopter, and then they turned into a ball of light and just took off. So when we're talking about the drones, we have the ones with propellers on it. They don't come from other planets. They are ours. And then we have the solid metallic ones. They could be ours. But the plasma, the ones that is coming out of the ocean and places, no, I don't think they're ours. What do you think?
With you, the, because one of my favorite researchers uh, is John A. Keel, and John A. Keel and Dr. Jacques Vallée, already in the late 1970s, changed their perspective on the UFO phenomenon. Instead of pushing the extraterrestrial physical origin of this UFO phenomenon, they, in the late 1970s, started promoting the extra dimensional origin of this phenomena. And especially John A. Keel started using the word transmogrification. Transmogrification, as you said, you described this capability, is the capacity to change into any shape or form. So this strange UFO phenomenon has the capacity of transmogrifying itself into any shape or form, uh, whatever form. And so this is one of the characteristics of the strange UFO phenomenon that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of the characteristics is not everyone seem to perceive this phenomenon, but it seemed to suddenly materialize and dematerialize and seem to have a pre-selection of the observers. And one of the other interesting thing that I began to notice is that this phenomenon is unable to sustain itself into our dimension for more than a few minutes. Uh, at a time.
Yeah.
Uh, and so they seem not able to survive in our physical dimension for some strange
Yeah.
reason. Uh, so these are things that we have to think about when considering this extra dimensional origin of the UFO phenomenon that I believe, as you said, FBI, CIA, and all other agencies are aware of this extra dimensionality of this strange phenomenon. And this is the reason why no matter what the United States Congress, tells you about this phenomenon, the Pentagon will never admit uh, this fact because the Pentagon is just as perplexed as any one of us about this phenomenon because this phenomenon cannot be accessed by conventional so-called scientific methodology. And so this is why there will never be such a thing as disclosure by the government. So the only disclosure will probably happen when the entities themselves decide to disclose their presence in a global simultaneous manner or announcement.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying too, because knowledge is power. As long as they have the knowledge and we don't, we have no power. So I think what's going to happen, and there's a hair in the soup though on this one, and that is the fake alien invasion that Werner von Braun talked about. And also, it's on the CIA website. They keep moving it around, so it's hard to find, but it is there. There's a document, I think it's 21 pages or something like that. It's quite extensive when they explain that they are orchestrating a fake alien invasion. Now, the thing about that one is that Werner von Braun talked about it to his secretary and she went public with it. He said that the last card would be a fake alien invasion. And I think it's still in the cards. We may be led down to the primrose path towards that. That's what I'm wondering. There's so much information on that out there now that they may not be able to do it, but I think they would like to. I know you heard about that one too. So what do you think on that?
Definitely, people have suggested years ago that one of the most effective methods to forcefully unite this disorganized world is to create an outer threat. That
Mm.
is a threat from elsewhere from the universe, an alien threat. In fact, I corresponded for a few months with a Canadian journalist named Serge Monast, I believe in 1993 or 1994. And he mentioned, and he was a Canadian journalist who investigated a lot of things, especially all kinds of cover ups. But anyway, he came with this uh, allegation that NASA had this project, a future project called the Project Blue Beam, in
Yeah.
which in the future they could stage a fake extraterrestrial contact scenario or invasion scenario
Hmm.
and create some kind of panic to unite this world. And of course, the world we're living in right now is so disorganized, it's catastrophically disorganized. And the only way to unite this world is to create extraterrestrial threat. And even Henry Kissinger said about it that the best way is to create this threat, whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
And also, you know, former President Ronald Reagan also said it.
Yeah.
Also, Gorbachev also said that same thing. And so, who is to say that this scenario is you know, is ridiculous? Because we have technologies right now that could enact a false uh, extraterrestrial event,
Yeah.
even locally, and with all kinds of technologies that we've been developing, such as, you know, instant holographic projection devices and you know, a mind control system on a local level, you know. But technology is advancing so much now that this scenario could be orchestrated globally and simultaneously. And you can never say that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's very likely that it could happen, you know?
Yeah. And one of the I think about close to a year ago now, there was one of the high-ranking NASA officials right next to the director. He said officially that by the end of 2025 there will be a fake alien invasion. And he was immediately removed from his position and put on permanent medical leave with salary. And I'm sure that the salary was one way they could control him still. Otherwise, if he talked anymore, then they will cut the salary off. So he said that. So I think NASA is still part of this program, and I think there's things going on here. So if we wake up one morning and there's thousands of holographic ships in the sky, they look real, I think it's going to be a fake one. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
I think that's a good, you know, good thought that this kind of thing could be realized uh,
Yeah,
very, very soon because technology is advancing so rapidly right now with this all kinds of artificial intelligence and holographic projection devices. And back in 1996, there came a document about the Air Force 2025. It was a document that appeared in 1996, I believe, and it was the future technologies of the U.S. Air Force. And it stated in that document that 2025 will have a whole bunch of new technologies. And also, one of the a friend, researcher friend of mine named Jim Goodall, and Jim Goodall, well-known aerospace research, uh, you know, specialist, and he said that he did hear from his fellow aerospace associates that we will never know the truth about Area 51 until the year 2025. And that's what he said in his video that he produced back in 1993.
yeah,
And I have part of that video, you know, and so definitely things could happen by the end of this year, 2025. And, you know, considering that we're living in such an uncertain times of history right now, so we never know what's going to happen in the next couple of months, in the next few months. But who is to say that things like this could not escalate by the end of this year, 2025?
Yeah.
We can only speculate, and nobody knows the future. No, nobody knows the future, but we can speculate that it's always a possibility that something could take place by the end of this year. And, I have a personal experience in this line of thought because I live in this amazing state of New Mexico, USA. I've been living here off and on, and since 1965.
Hmm.
And I have seen some strange stuff right here in New Mexico. Uh, and one of the interesting thing that happened to me in New Mexico was in 2009 when I held UFO conference in the community of an Indian reservation called the Jicarilla Apache Indian Reservation, which is located in northern part of this state of New Mexico.
Yeah.
And this community is known as Dulce, New Mexico.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in 2009, I was the first person to hold a public town meeting about whether Dulce Base is real or not. And that was in 2009. And I was afraid to have that meeting because I was an outsider. And for an outsider to come into an Indian reservation in Dulce, and hold
Oh,
a
yeah.
meeting was just unthinkable. But I was encouraged by some of the officials of Dulce, New Mexico, that I should have this conference because there's definitely something going on in their community ever since around 1967.
Hmm.
But, my conclusion is that yes, Dulce, New Mexico may have been an ideal location for the United States military and the Air Force to conduct some kind of a psychological operation, perhaps somewhat similar to Project Blue Beam, because in the 1970s and early 1980s, people had seen some strange things in Dulce, New Mexico, and a friend of mine who is no longer here, but his name was Gabe Valdez. He was assigned by the state of New Mexico to investigate the strange cattle mutilations that were occurring in Dulce area in you know
Yeah.
middle 1970s to 1980s, and he came to the conclusion that these cattle mutilations and sightings of strange aircraft and sightings of military helicopters in that area were part of the psychological operations, and uh, the government may have used some kind of a holographic technology to make the people believe that they were seeing UFOs
Hmm.
in the sky. And so I somehow agree with his conclusion that there was some kind of psyops going on in
Yeah.
Dulce area. And even right now, people still occasionally report the sightings of strange entities in there
Well,
that
it's
those are described as Bigfoot in the Navajo River area of Dulce, New Mexico. And so this is my personal thought that after investigating the Dulce Base story for many, many years, since around 1988, I visited Dulce many times, and even now, I occasionally go to that location because it's only about 3 hour drive from where I'm living in Albuquerque. And, over the years, I have tried to find a physical evidence of an underground base over there, but still I haven't found any physical evidence for a physical facility over there. Yet there seemed to be something going on
Yeah.
that could be of some kind of a paraphysical nature.
Yeah,
Uh,
there is a couple of people that has come out and made some account and some testimonies about that. That underground base that have 5 or 6 floors to it, and there's a cooperation between extraterrestrials and humans working at that base. And from one of them said on the bottom floor, I think it was, he said, they call it the Alice's floor, Alice from Wonderland. Uh, and that's where they do hibernation of animals, people, and extraterrestrials. So it is genetic research going on. That is what the story from those that the guy that's supposed to have been there said. And I'm wondering, it appears that there may be more to it than what we think. What do you think on that particular thing?
no question that this is a very important topic because we're talking about various things here. As I told you, I live in this state called New Mexico, which has the nation's probably the leading edge, most advanced leading edge technology in directed energy weapon systems that is being tested in White Sands, but also
Yeah.
in northern New Mexico, we have this amazing complex called Los Alamos National Laboratory, in which human genetics is being has always been main research thing. And so the DNA research and genetics research is one of the very important projects of Los Alamos National Laboratory. And the Los Alamos National Laboratory is a humongous complex. And the Dulce area, some people allege that is connected Los Alamos National Laboratory because it's only about 90 miles apart
Mhm.
between Los Alamos National Laboratories and Dulce Base area, alleged Dulce Base area. And some people say that there's a tunnel connection uh, under, you know, Los Alamos and Dulce area, which is about 90 miles apart. But, if we think about the fact that in the 1950s, the United States already had a technology to dig, humongous tunnels by this atomic energy based drilling machine, that was already creating underground tunnels, or at least had the capacity to create underground tunnels by digging in and also using the technology to create a smooth surface as the boring machine entered in underground without getting all the dirt into the outside. Because while they were digging and the tunnel machine was going on, the surface inside the tunnels became smooth
Yeah.
by their thing. So we had this kind of technology back in the 1950s. So who is to say that we have we don't have any other even better amazing technology even right now? In fact, it's very possible that there are tunnel connections between Los Alamos and also possibly uh, other locations. Now, there are some people who even say, and this sounds far fetched, But some people even say that there are tunnel connections that connect places like Dulce Base in New Mexico and Los Alamos and Colorado's, Denver International Airport
Yeah.
and the tunnels connecting Dulce to Edwards Air Force Base and Area 51 even, and so it sounds like science fiction, but is it really science fiction? It's we don't know. We don't know. Anything is possible. But as you mentioned, Agi, that you mentioned one thing very important is that without these uh, extra dimensional entities' help, they may not be able to stage a fake extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
incident or creation because these entities themselves may be the ones that are going to participate in the coming extraterrestrial orchestration.
Yeah.
And so that's just my personal thought.
Well, I think we know that these tunnels exist. There is enough testimonies and there is pictures. If you go to broadcastteamalpha.com, go into the picture gallery, and you will see a picture of one of those boring machines. They make a 25-foot wide hole when they go, and they travel several miles a day. And you can see what it looks like. And it says US Air Force on the picture. This picture has been around since the 1980s. And I'm just asking you, if that boring machine was in 1980, that's 40 years ago. What do you think they have now? Yeah, they can make these tunnels. And they now they're under atomic power. And you can glaze the walls. And the story from one of the people is that, like you said, when they go through, they don't put any dirt on top. The dirt disappears because they move it into a different dimensional existence. So the only thing left is the hole as they're going. Now, that one too is pretty hard to wrap our heads around, but think about it. Quantum mechanics speaks totally. This is possible. Why should we not have already discovered it when the theoretical formulas and equations on the blackboard speaks how to do it? It could happen. That's my story again.
It's all fascinating because, we're living in some of the most unstable moments in the history of mankind. We'll never know what's going to happen in the U.S.
Yeah,
in the next, few months or by the end of this year. We never know what's going to happen in Europe. There's all kinds of confusion around
yeah,
economic wise, sociologically wise. Something is happening. So, we have to always keep in mind that we cannot be deceived by anything. The only way to protect our sanity is to have a clear mind, is to have a clear logical reasoning, behind everything. And, but many times it's a very difficult fight to fight against all kinds of disinformation, misinformation, and also trickery by any kind of a group, whether it's manipulated by extra dimensional type of entities. We
yeah,
don't know. But one thing I can say is that in this world, fortunately, and thank God for this, because there are some benevolent entities still exist in this tremendously humongous universe, and these are benevolent entities. So not all these alien, so-called alien entities are malevolent or fallen. I believe that there is a significant
Yeah.
number of good ones that protect us personally in this life. And so I am of that opinion, and so
Yeah.
but there is always this battle going on right now in this cosmic dimension. There's a battle going on between the good forces and the bad or deceptive
Yeah.
forces. So it's the
Yeah.
deceptive forces that we have to worry about.
Yeah. You mentioned keeping our sanity. I think the most important thing is that quit watching TV. Get your news and information from YouTube and other places, but use your discernment because not everything that you see is real. But most all of it on TV, main channels, is either twisted or just flat lies. Now, there is one channel that is pretty good. That's the Weather Channel. They're pretty close most of the time. But I don't I don't watch TV. I got the big screen on the wall, but I never watch any of the regular channels because I know there's nothing really on there that has any value. It is all entertainment for them, brainwashing us. And I don't want it. Anyway,
Because it's very difficult to find any reliable news media
yeah,
these days. It's very, very difficult. So, as you said, thank God for the YouTube. Some YouTube videos are very close to what is really happening.
hmm,
And so thank God that YouTube exists. And, they cannot delete YouTube's because I think YouTube is a device for our education, and as long as one has the capacity to discern what is true and what is fake,
yeah,
as long as there's discernment, I think YouTube's are very good, because it's a great way to spread truth, or at least
yeah,
truth that we think is true. And so, thank God for things like YouTube. But in general, the internet is a terrible medium that could persuade a lot of people to the wrong direction, and it's
yeah,
succeeding. It is succeeding in many ways, and so there are many in this world. There are many gullible people that believe everything in the internet.
yeah,
And it's a sad situation. And, many people who believe everything in the internet, I think, many of them are not really, sufficiently educated.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I think that one of the means for the enemy or for the perceived enemy to control this world is to propagate disinformation and convince, especially those without discernment, to believing in false information as true, and so
yeah. I know back in the 1980s or 90s, I remember there was a saying that, I've seen it on TV, so it's got to be true. Now, I think we can say, I've seen it on TV, so it's got to be a lie. What do you think about that one?
yeah, that's a good one. I think that's a good one because It's getting more difficult each day to discern actually what's true or what's fake. And so this is the point, and I'm glad that you have this medium that you're using to
Yeah,
spread, a common sense and to the people of the world. And I sure
yeah,
appreciate and Maggie for your work. And like I said, I'm not a dogmatic person that says this is it, but I am open to all kinds of speculations based on logical reasoning, and but yet I keep both of my feet on the ground when
yeah,
I delve into this subject matter because there are so many folks into this kind of research that they go off tangent and then they lose their minds.
yeah,
And that happened to a lot of so-called UFO researchers who just went off tangent and now they're suffering from some kind of a delusive mental, thoughts and illusions and mental disorders.
yeah. Yeah, it happens. And now we, it appears to me that there is a global raising of consciousness. So people are getting more curious about what is it that we do not get just thinking three-dimensionally. This raising of consciousness, according to some people that think they know, that happens around about every 26,000 years when we move around the great circle of the galaxy. And they're talking about ascension. They're talking about, the Christians are talking about it as rapture. And there is something to that from way back in the history of mankind that brought it into the Christian religion about people disappearing. And that they call it the rapture. And then again, now they are being called ascension. And through that process, if we are supposed to go disappear, so to speak, and go to a higher dimension, what makes un, it not possible for things already in the higher dimensions to come down to us and visit? Do you think that could have something to do with the appearance and disappearance of UFOs and possibly also people looking like us, being from other dimensions walking down the street next to us and we don't even know the difference? That gets deep.
Question. Yes, it is very deep because, as you said, in many religions around the world, there are beliefs that something like this could possibly take place. And as you mentioned, especially in the Christian tradition, especially among the so-called evangelical type of fundamentalist Christian belief, many people seem to believe that one of these days there will be a disappearance of millions of people around the world, which, as you described, you know, as the so-called rapture, and uh, some people believe that, yeah, that this could happen, but uh, you know, if you're not a Christian person, then this could be interpreted as some kind of evacuation of those who believe in this type of situations.
Yeah,
And so this word is very interesting because the fundamentalist Christians use this termination of as in the days of Noah, that
yeah,
when the before the flood started happening, a group of people were placed in a safe location in the ark, and then once they were in the ark, then rain started falling endlessly. So
Yeah,
a lot of people say that we're living also in this time frame that's described by some Christians as the days in the times of Noah, just like the days of Noah, that things like this could happen. But, uh, some researchers believe that there will be some kind of a new world system or new world order that would possibly use this kind of belief to explain away the disappearance of people.
yeah.
So it's a very fascinating, thought, and we have no proof of anything like this, but it's about beliefs, it's about beliefs, and so we still don't know what the truth is, but we have to keep researching, and nobody knows the truth, whole truth. People know in parts, and it's very important to understand that we all know in parts only, and nobody knows the whole truth.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, it's very important, and so we have to think about these thoughts from a very, from a larger viewpoint.
Yeah.
And but anyway, the UFO phenomenon may definitely play in this kind of a future scenario. And so,
Yeah,
what? Yes.
this is getting really deep when you go into those kinds of thoughts. And I tell you though, we need to engage them because it's common. I think we are in that area of 26,000 mile circle where the raising of consciousness is happening, and we have an opportunity to create a better world. I think so. But doggone it, we're down to the end of the show here pretty much. Um, Tell people how they can get a hold of you, and where maybe they can find some of the books, and where they can read your website. I was there, and man, there's a lot of good stuff there.
Well, Aggie, it has been my great pleasure to be on your very important broadcast. And people can easily know about me simply by doing a Google search on my name, Norio Hayakawa. And also, I'm on Facebook under Norio Hayakawa, and I post a lot of fascinating stuff on the Facebook. And then, of course, people can do a YouTube search and type up my name, Norio Hayakawa, and I have produced uh, hundreds of very interesting YouTube videos, and all my YouTube videos are just about 3 minutes or 5 minutes, the longest, because I believe that the people's attention are very
Yeah,
short, and so it's very good to produce a video of maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes, no longer than that, because
yeah,
attention span of people are very short. And then so like I said, it's very easy to search about me, and I'm willing
yeah,
to correspond with anyone, and anyone can just email me anytime, and by just emailing to Norio Hayakawa at gmail.com, and I will answer any question that you may have to the best of my knowledge. And once again, Aggie, I don't know how much to thank you for giving me this opportunity to, say a
yeah.
few things in your great program.
It is so interesting to talk to someone that has done so much as you have and experienced so much and done so much research. And that's why, by looking at your website, you got an awful lot of your research on this. I highly recommend for people to go look at that, and on Facebook. So, God, now we're down to the end, and I thank you very much, Norio, for being with us. This was really wonderful.
you so much, Aggie. God bless you, and God bless all of the audiences right here.
Yeah. And folks out there, if you like what you heard, please subscribe. That'll help the algorithm and help us a lot. So we thank you very much. And in the words of Spock, live long and prosper.